Take a look at some of the photos that I was able to capture on this bucket list trip into the Canadian Rockies. And if you ever get a chance to travel around this area, please do not hesitate, because it will literally change your life. I'm talking about landscapes that go on seemingly forever, nature at its finest, wildlife. It was just incredible, guys. And I wanted to share my experience with you, talk about some lens choices, a couple giveaways, and celebrate my success here with you, and talk about my trip into the Rockies. So originally this trip was all about a photography conference in Canmore, Alberta, which is very similar to Whistler if you've ever been to the Vancouver area of British Columbia. Just beautiful, surrounded by mountains. But it did take me there for education and competition, which you know that I love. So I'm very proud to announce that I did pretty darn well. I received my Craftsman of Photographic Arts designation after 5 years, and I was lucky enough to be quite successful in the Professional Photographers of Canada national competition, scoring a best-in-class animals. You've probably seen this photo around on the channel here, and I was a Photographic Artist of the Year finalist once again. So it was just an incredible week filled with amazing people, tons of great education, and I was able to meet a lot of photographers that I really look up to and admire. It was incredible. Not to mention going out on my own and checking out some of what this beautiful, beautiful location had to offer. And of course, there were animals everywhere. The landscapes just went on and on. It was earlier in the year, so I didn't have a ton of tourist activity to contend with, but unfortunately it was quite cold, and a lot of the stuff, including a lot of the lakes, were kind of frozen over for the most part. So trade-offs there. But one of the major highlights for me of this trip, and honestly my life, was being able to capture the northern lights sporadically just right down the street from my hotel with very little notice. I grabbed my camera and a couple lenses and I headed out to a KP8, which is a massive solar storm, and man, it did not disappoint. Here are some of the photo examples, and it just blew me away. The very first time that I was ever really able to see these in person, and it was just incredible to share this with some of my friends and some of the best photographers in the world. The World Photographic Cup was also there, and I was able to hold my third place trophy from 2021 and celebrate with my team for this year. Man, it was just an incredible trip. I feel very humbled and blessed to have had that experience. But in terms of the trip, what I was shooting and how I was shooting it, I thought I'd talk about some of my lens choices for you guys, because if you are thinking about going on a trip, these are some of the lenses that I would strongly recommend based on what you're doing. Of course, I am a Sony full frame shooter, so if you are a shooter of a different brand, look for similar lenses that are gonna probably perform around the same. So first, there was a lot of driving, around 2,500 kilometers round trip for me. And what I did is go from basically the Vancouver area all the way up to Canmore. We went from Canmore through Banff up to Jasper, then down past Mount Robson, and eventually all the way back home. So there was a ton to see, and it's almost overwhelming. There's so much to see that you just kind of get numb to it. Every corner that you turn, it's just something even more beautiful. Just do it. If you ever get the chance, just do it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the lenses that I found on my camera most often. And one of them was on my camera while I was driving a lot, because I was always looking for wildlife and birds and moose and elk and all that kind of stuff. And the one thing that I knew could capture those things and landscape at the same time was the Tamron 50-400. This lens was pretty much my go-to on-the-road lens because of its versatility, and man, this thing is just incredible.
And here's some more shots from my travels. As you can see, quite versatile, definitely sharp where it counts. It's just a very versatile all-around lens. It does have a great minimum focus distance as well, including image stabilization, which really does pick up some of the slack when shooting in lower light situations.
So as you can see here, I also took my big Sony 100-400 G Master here, which is not nearly as flexible. With really fast moving subjects, there's not much I trust more than this lens to capture what I'm looking for. Fortunately, there was not a ton of that, and this lens did extraordinarily well. Not only was I able to capture wildlife, but I was also able to get in and shoot the amazing details of landscapes, of mountains, and yes, I can strongly recommend this lens lens to you. Of course, I've got full in-depth reviews and videos on it, and I'm excited to tell you that Tamron has partnered with me to give away this lens to one of you. We're gonna have a photo competition really soon here, so keep an eye out for the details. Don't worry about your experience level or what you shoot with. Everybody's gonna have a chance to win this. You just have to submit a photo, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Next happens to be the little 20-40 f2.8 from Tamron. This thing weighs nothing. It's very small, light, and compact, and it is a great performer, great for landscapes, and I used it a ton on this trip. So luckily, we're also gonna be giving away one of these if this thing is a little bit big for you. We're gonna have another photo competition, a little bit maybe different style here coming up, and we're gonna give this away to one of you as well. Great lens. Also, I do have a full in-depth review on this thing, and yeah, can't say enough good things about it. And this thing was on my camera quite a bit for landscapes and just general purpose shooting.
Here's a few more examples shot with this lens. I definitely like it for landscape, architecture, and just general purpose photography where it really shines. The fast f2.8 means beautiful out of focus backgrounds and great low light performance. It's got an impressive minimum focus distance and sharpness, and because of the great size of this lens, it's also a great choice for video shooters. All around an amazing package.
And finally, an amazing lens from Sony, which is incredibly wide and was on my camera for all of my astrophotography and capturing as much as I could possibly get into the frame in a lot of landscape situations, was the 14mm f1.8 G Master. Man, this lens is just incredible. And like the rest of these lenses here, it does come very highly recommended.
Finally, here's a few shots with the 14mm, just an outstanding G Master lens that does come at a price, of course, but in my opinion, worth every single penny. This is the best astrophotography lens that I've ever used, and really one of the best ultra-wide lenses on the market today.
So those are the lenses that I found myself using most of the time. I did bring a macro lens. I really didn't get that thing out to shoot very much. Again, there was just so much going on and time was limited, so I pretty much stuck to those guys. Anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or if you have traveled that, and let me know your experience, guys. Keep an eye out for those giveaways here, and thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, join the community, and like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you soon.